Well, I grew up in a very abusive home. My parents were 16 and 17 when they had me, so they were babies raising babies. And I ended up at a really young age running away from home to get away from the abuse. And I got addicted to drugs and kind of made it hard with my relationship with God in the beginning, because it's like, if my parents treated me like that, it's like it was a little hard for me to grasp the concept that God is a loving father. I had my first baby when I was 17. Being an addicted parent, it wasn't a good environment for my children. I ended up losing custody of my kids. I got deeper into my drug addiction, and I was homeless and selling drugs. And December 6, 2006, I got arrested. I got sentenced to 10 years. That was actually like the best thing that ever happened to me. I kind of just surrendered and gave up. It's like I didn't even try to get bailed out. I just accepted the fact that, I did wrong, and I'm gonna do some time. And I started reading the Bible and got into the Word. I got to know God. I experienced His love for the first time in jail, and God did for me what I couldn't do for myself. I couldn't stop using drugs, you know what I mean? I wanted to. When I got ready to get out of prison, I remember going into the work furlough program, and as soon as I got there, a company called and said that they had a job open if they had anybody wanted to come to work, and I just knew that was God. It's like He opened the door, and I went straight to work for the first time in my life. And 2 years later, I got hired with the government, and I was still on parole. A convicted felon usually doesn't get a federal job, but I just know that was God's hand in my life. It's like things like that. It can only be explained by God opening doors. I was involved with this man that was still, we went to jail at the same time, but he was still in prison while I was out. And when he got out, we were doing good, and he started using again. He started smoking, and I even found a letter in my Bible I wrote to God that asking Him to please take the addiction away from Nelson. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and I guess it wasn't happening fast enough for me, so I started taking things into my own hands and manipulating the situation. And I ended up using drugs again and started selling drugs again. And he died from his addiction, and I picked up new charges. So that's why I'm facing 10 years again. That's when I started taking a look at my life, and I knew that I needed God back in my life, because that's when life was good, when I stayed connected to God. And I found Pearlside, and they had that altar call. I went up, and Pastor Camille came and prayed over me, and then I talked with her outside, and she invited me to her small group. And sometimes I felt like I felt ashamed of my story, and that I was coming with all these godly women, and that I didn't fit in. But so I was in a group with a lady, and I starting to feel more comfortable, so I'm sharing my story more. And she told me, thank you, because this is an answer to my prayers. I guess me sharing my story in small group helped her to understand her son in his addiction. Yeah. That peace beyond understanding they talk about is like all my anxiety and my fears are gone. It's like I'm able to go to sleep at night and not be beating myself up about the mistakes I made, that God still loves me, and He still has a plan and a purpose for my life. And I'm actually okay with everything today. It's like I might be facing 10 years in prison, but I know God's in control, and no matter what, He's done so many things for me in my life before. I'm excited to see what He does. I'm gonna have to lose my job, my home, all my possessions, my whatever I have, but that's all material things, you know. And yeah, so I'd like to maybe bless the homeless with my blankets and my towels, and I can't take it with me, and even when you die, you can't take it with you, you know. You know, I know what I did was wrong, and with that comes consequences. But it's okay, you know, it's like I know God's gonna be with me in there or out here. And in there I'll have more time to sit and study my Bible, you know? Yeah. When this all started, it's like, it might not have been a good situation to be in, but I've never been closer to God. Even though life can be tough, my worst day with God was way better than my best day without Him.